Welcome into the Sports Buffoons podcast. Boys and girls of the world, welcome on and back again to the Sports Buffoon Studios here out of Lenexa, Kansas. Of course, once more, we got the full clan with us. JG to my left.
Yo.
And Tanner Dawson to my right. What's going
on,
fellas?
What's up?
How you guys been doing, man? It's been a couple weeks, of course. What you guys been up to?
It's been a busy couple weeks. So
yeah, I heard you got a promotion on the show.
I did.
You got yourself a raise through the podcast. Is that right?
That's right.
So that's always nice. That's good. It's good. We're proud of you, man. We're proud of you.
I'm making a quarter now instead of a dime. So
that's always that's great, man. We're glad for the
things.
progress, even
Big
if it's slow progress. It's still progress. So nothing wrong with that. JG, what about you, man?
I do the same thing that I always do, which is gambling. So I don't believe in other people giving me a raise. I want to go get my own raise.
Ooh, I like that.
So I just do as much gambling as possible. And it's been a down year for me. It's completely different than it was last year, but obviously had some negative regression, but I'm still in profit. So that's the only thing that counts when you're a professional gambler. If you're in profit, you did something right.
Yeah, I like that you said that. As far as you don't want to worry about other people giving you a raise. You give yourself a raise, basically. So I like that. I mean, I've obviously been with you quite a few times throughout the gambling recently, so it's been a pretty successful last few sessions we've had. I'll put it that way. So I'm happy with it. But man, otherwise, glad to be back, of course. And we officially have a Chiefs football game this weekend.
That's right.
And so we're looking forward to that so much. I mean, it's going to be Saturday at 6:00 Central Time. Pumped for that. Just to finally see these guys on the field again. Tanner, you and I went up to training camp a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And got to see some things in their first full team training camp, but first full team practice. But they weren't in pads yet, and they were still just kind of getting refreshed on everything. And we're in the full thick of these things now at this point with camps. I mean, these guys we're starting to get some things sorted out basically within the team. John Gruden's been there 4 days in a row.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
We're in Chiefs gear.
That's awesome. Andy Reid and him have been buddies for like 30 years.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to see Gruden back wearing, even if it's reluctant NFL apparel. And putting on that red for the Chiefs, which is nice to see. And I've always, I don't care that he was a Raiders coach a couple different times. I was always a John Gruden fan, and I still am. I thought he was an awesome coach during his career, and I loved what he did on ESPN doing the quarterback camp. That was one of my favorite things to watch pre-draft was that quarterback camp. And I remember Patrick Mahomes was on there with him at one point as well. I think it's cool to see Gruden. Honestly, Gruden's probably would have been the one begging Andy Reid to finally get to go see Patrick Mahomes in person at training camp. So he's probably been asking Andy Reid for a few years for that.
Up close and personal.
So yeah, that's cool to see. But guys, the good news is we had the official depth chart come out.
Yep.
So we got some updates on that at least. As of right now, of course, guys, it's the official, unofficial Week 1 preseason depth chart. So it's not anything set in stone, but this is what the team get an idea of what they're feeling right now. Get an idea of, the guys that are, on the rise or on the decline. For example, Kadarius Toney is right now listed as the 9th wide receiver on the board of everybody at the wide receiver position. I mean, he's behind Justin Ross, Mecole Hardman, Nico Remigio. He's right there next to Cornell Powell.
Yeah,
for example.
Yeah,
which is not looking good for his potential to make the team. And then you got other guys, of course, on the list that kind of surprised me to see them so high up. Let's see, we got what did we end up with at the receiver position?
Receiver. So Justin Watson's right behind Hollywood Brown in the depth chart. Right. You had
Hardman
right there behind Sky Moore. Sky Moore is still third. I guess I don't know how you classify it because it's broke out between two different receiver steps, but you're looking at Sky Moore still being up there, Hardman, Nico Remigio that we really want to see more of this preseason here, and Justin Ross. So, I mean, I think the stuff we're really going to see is going to be Kadarius Toney out there. We're going to see Remigio. We're going to see Justin Ross, Cornell Powell, Hayek, Phillip Brooks, Montreal Washington, and Kyle Sheed. So
I will ask, we've seen some clips throughout training camp about the tight end position in general and Jared Wiley and some good things regarding to him and route running wise, especially. You guys, Noah Gray has been a really good number 2 tight end for this team. I mean, I can't complain at all. He caught a pass at the last drive of the Super Bowl that was big time. I mean, it was important. It might have been a 12-yard gain, but it still meant something in that moment. And he's been just a solid tight end over the last couple of years. But right now Noah Gray is still number 2 ahead of Jared Wiley, even though Wiley was taken pretty early. Do we think that there's going to be a lot of 3 tight end sets because of the athleticism we see at the position now, or is it something where we're just going to kind of be comfortable with Noah Gray and Travis Kelce doing the normal thing?
It's based off health, right?
Sure.
This is kind of what he was Andy Reid was hoping for with Fortson, but Fortson couldn't stay healthy.
That's true,
to save his ass. So I think Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, Jared Wiley there, nice little trio that you can put in. Like you said, they all can catch the ball. They are all playmakers for that. So yeah, I could see a lot of 3 tight end sets, and with the mix of Rice, Worthy, and Brown.
Jason, I think it's all going to be personnel based when it comes to the tight ends and receivers and the packages we see for this offense. So what are your thoughts on the initial depth chart going into week 1 of preseason?
Going back to the tight end position, I feel like we talk about 3 tight end sets. I feel like we've been talking about this stuff for I don't know how many years. And I don't think that's where we're going here. I think it's like Travis Kelce or bust. And I feel like Noah Gray. Noah Gray's not that guy. And I don't think there's any other guys on the roster right now that are going to be that guy. And so we're not trying to imagine.
What guy are you looking for?
We're not trying to imagine the next Travis Kelce, and we're not trying to imagine, Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez back in the day. So with the 3 tight end sets, I don't feel like you're actually accomplishing anything there. And so I feel like I want to see more wide receivers on the field than I want to see with tight ends at this point.
I think kind of what I meant to say, I said personnel based, but what I meant to say was situational based, depending on where they're at on the field.
Yeah.
Inside the 5-yard line, you're going to have more instances where it makes sense to have the 3 tight end set out there and to be able to have the mismatches size wise over some of those corners, in those situations. I just think that's going to be the biggest impact we see. I can't imagine you're at the 50-yard line and you got all 3 tight ends out there unless it's 3rd and 1. That didn't really make sense to me.
Situational based.
So basically, to me, it's going to be situational based. We probably won't see that much Wiley this season. Of course, health wise is all that matters when it comes down to that. But I think it gives them the option, the flexibility that they wanted, like what Tanner was alluding to with Jody Fortson and his injury-prone history. And maybe Wiley can finally be that athletic tight end that Fortson was, but actually be on the field throughout the season. And the impact that can bring is pretty nice.
And I would love to see that if they can develop him, Wiley, to being that piece. I would love to see that moving forward.
I think the big takeaway from training camp the last couple of years is we did see Fortson get a lot of red zone targets during that time, and you saw Fortson being used in the one offense during training camp, and then just the injuries that affect him that takes that personnel, that takes those set of plays you can't use anymore. So that's what I'm saying with the Noah Gray, Jared Wiley being here. You got a great combo here as long as everybody stays healthy. I mean, that's a new set of plays that Andy Reid can just work in now that they've worked, that Mahomes knows. He's worked on it in training camp, so now they can implement it.
Yeah, I think now we could say, based on what we're seeing on the depth chart, is it's official now. We can see it on paper. We've seen it at practice. Kingsley Suamataia is now the number 1 left tackle on this team as a rookie. So we're going to have a rookie protecting Patrick Mahomes this season. The team obviously has a lot of faith in him to get the job done. The good news is for Kingsley is he's got the greatest interior 3 in the entire game between Joe Thuney, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith. Those guys are the absolute best. So I'm hoping if anything starts to fail on his side of things, he can get a little bit of help from Joe Thuney, who's going to be right next to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to be huge. As a matter of fact, Joe Thuney is, of course, having left tackle experience, and just his veteran presence is going to go a long ways. I mean, that guy, whenever Joe Thuney's done with the Chiefs and done playing in his career, we're going to look back and we're going to be like, man, we didn't credit that guy enough because of the things he brought to the roster. Just as a flexible player and his veteran presence and leadership, and just the fact he could do it all and was good at it, really good at it.
He was.
So,
yeah.
That's just something to think about down the road. Thuney's still got another probably couple of years left, I bet.
Yeah, I think so. I like Kingsley there over Wanya Morris. I've been hearing a lot of great things from Kingsley. That he's performing really well, and he's developing really well. He's learning the game at the pace and everything like that. And we've seen Wanya. Wanya got to play last year a little bit. It was touch and go. It was touch and go. He did not look like he was a ready kind of style guy.
Nah, Morris is more of a run blocking kind of a tackle, in my opinion, that could actually move into guard. Something I think we're going to see a little bit of and has been used in that position in training camp. I think they want Wanya Morris to essentially be a swing tackle that is, if needed, can come in and play right or left.
Basically a Niang.
And sure, play a little bit. If you need to play guard, you can play guard. That's going to be his niche right now with this team because I think at the moment we got our whole offensive line set in stone. I think we know what to expect from those guys. I just hope Kingsley is going to be better than Eric Fisher was his first year as a rookie with the Chiefs because that was bad. And I'll say
That's
Kingsley looks better without a doubt than Fisher did as far as just in practice and size wise. He actually looks like a left tackle. Where that year with Eric Fisher, I remember Tanner. It was 2013. He looked like a tight end.
Yeah,
the guy was like slender and slim. I'm like,
he did not look like
you're a left tackle. What are you doing?
He did not look like a left tackle.
It took him a couple of years to really get to where he was a decent left tackle. Another one I was kind of curious to ask you guys about. So we've heard a lot of hype. And we saw him in the cover of Men's Health, Louis Rees-Sammet, Mr. Rugby himself. On the depth chart, I kind of expected him to be a little higher up than what we're currently looking at because Chiefs obviously have Isaiah Pacheco, number 1, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, number 2, Deneric Prince, number 4. Then they have Keontae Ingram, number.
I have Prince 3.
Prince 3. Ingram 4, and then Rees-Sammet, number 5 on the running back list.
Correct.
Which to me is kind of strange. I felt like he'd be a little higher on that.
Well, I think it's more of a wait and see. You don't know. You don't know what he's going to be like in an actual game against you can do him in training camp, but you can't see him in an actual game. I think they know what Keontae Ingram looks like from Arizona. Yeah. You know what Prince looks like in an NFL game. You know what Clyde looks like in an NFL game. So now Louis Rees-Sammet, and like Andy Reid does this a lot with a lot of rookies. You usually start from the back anyways and work your way up. Position players, all those kind of guys there. Unless there's usually the linemen get a little bit more love, but like Louis Rees-Sammet there at 5, I'm not concerned about it yet because we don't know, and the Chiefs don't know what he looks like. So
preseason is going to be important for a guy like him.
Very important,
without a doubt. So
very important.
Another one I found interesting. You guys know kick returning is going to be really, really important this year, I think. And right now, number 1 kick returner is Nico Remigio, right there with Mecole Hardman. But right now he's listed as number 1 kick returner. So if he's number 1 kick returner at the moment, that tells me the team we would expect is planning on probably holding on to him this year. I mean, in that case, if he makes a roster, there's going to be Sky Moore out of here. There's got to be some cuts somewhere else that make up for that. But I find that very interesting that he is right now the number 1 kick returner listed. So I'll be curious when Saturday rolls around if he is the opening kickoff guy to get the first touch. Now to see this new rule in place.
Now that's huge, right? Kick returner, punt returner. Now watch how these line up, how they get played out in the preseason. Watch where Mecole Hardman goes in the receiving ranks as well. That's going to tell you the tall tale. Like we talk about Sky Moore getting cut, Mecole's right on the bubble, baby. He's right on the bubble. Louis Rees-Sammet is the 3rd string kick returner. Remigio is also the 3rd string punt returner. So, like if Nico can come in to take the job, you guys got to watch out for it. Like Mecole, unfortunately, could see the end of his Chiefs days.
I would hope not. I mean, he
I would hope not. But like if you're looking at keeping players here, you're keeping Hollywood Brown. Justin Watson's saying Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy. That's 4. You keep Nico. That's 5. So that leaves Sky Moore, Justin Ross, Mecole Hardman, Kadarius Toney, all fighting for a spot.
Yeah, and that'll be a debate we have at a later day. Correct. After
I'm just stating, like you got to watch how they're used.
Yeah, of course.
Because I think Mecole, I like if he's not number 1 in kick return or punt return, he's a bubble guy right now. So
yeah, no, I get that. I got one more for you guys that I found kind of interesting, at least. I actually agree with the way it's set up on the depth chart, but right now, Mike Dana is the number 1 starting D end over Felix Anudike-Uzomah.
Yep.
And a lot of people probably would expect, he's a former 1st-round pick. He should come in and be starting this year after last year kind of being a redshirt year up until the playoffs began. Mike Dana, though, is so familiar with this system and this defense and productive to an extent, productive enough to where he's reliable. I don't see him make a ton of mistakes. He knows where to be and when to be there on the D line. I think his veteran leadership on that regard with the D line and knowing where to be and just take care of business kind of an approach is what has him right now over Felix, where I think Felix is going to be used more as your 3rd down pass rushing kind of a D end. more so than an every down kind of guy at the moment right now. That does not mean that I think Felix Anudike-Uzomah is a bust by any means.
No,
I don't think so. That's the case at all. I think it's actually a good problem to have because you got guys that have a couple different styles of play that can be used in different variety as well within the calls that Spagnuolo has for the defense. So, do you guys put any stock or thought into Mike Dana starting over Felix right now?
Not at all. I just think that with FAU, he's a younger guy and he's developing, but with Mike Dana, we trust him. And I think with Andy Reid throughout the course of his tenure is like he wants to have guys that he trusts on the depth chart that are starters. And that's what Mike Dana is. He's not like this guy that's going to wow you, but he's going to be in the right place at the right time. And he's a guy that you can trust. And he's a guy that FAU can look up to and say, hey, this is what I aspire to be, even though he's probably got a lot more talent than Mike Dana.
Yeah, I feel the same way right now. And I wouldn't look into it too much. I think it's going to be personnel package based within this defense.
I'm about to say it's Spags defense.
It's going to be based on situational football.
Yeah, just because you see guys at the number one spot doesn't mean that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
they're going to start.
Another point to that, we saw Chamari Connor have an awesome ball last year in the playoffs and down the stretch of the season. And right now, he's the cornerback 5 if you add them all up.
Yeah,
I mean, he's behind Najee Johnson, who hasn't played a damn down for this team, really. Not in any kind of serious capacity, other than being injured last year and expectations. But Chamari Connor was pretty good last year.
Again, something that you did point. We pointed out there in the running back room, Kamal Haddon, who was running with the ones at times too in camp while we were there, is the last one noted on the depth chart. So a guy that does have to fight for his role. And Boyodo, and
K-Stater
and Chamari Connor, like they played well. I don't think those two are in risk. I think you're just going to see maybe we keep 6, man.
I mean, it's very possible because there's flexibility there. They're not all pure cornerbacks.
Najee can play safety. Chamari Connor can play safety.
There.
Yeah,
so
we've seen it.
Something to think about with this roster at least, which was a nice problem to have again. So guys, now that we've kind of looked over the depth chart right now, which obviously at the end of the day is pretty meaningless at this moment.
It's true,
but it's fun to look at just to see the first initial depth chart. Going into this game this weekend here against the Jaguars on the road, not that matters, like I said. Still, what are we looking forward to? Andy Reid, as he always says, the starters are going to play at one quarter. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. If Patrick Mahomes rolls down and scores a touchdown, you're done. I don't care if there's 12 minutes left in the quarter.
He does that every time. He says they're going to play the first, they score, it's done.
And then it's over with. But, if Patrick Mahomes goes out there with the offense and their first one goes 3 and out, they might do one more.
Mm-hmm.
But, guys, what are we looking forward to watching the most up in this game? I mean, I remember last year, just to kind of put this in your minds, I was sitting at I was sitting at a bar and watching the game because I had to be downtown. And I remember watching Rashee Rice for the first time in preseason and just kind of picking up on like, man, this guy's got some potential here. You can see he's fluid. He was doing a really good job. I mean, he felt like he fit well with what was going on the field. And he had a good game. I mean, he had a good preseason in general last year. And so I thought that was pretty nice to see. And now this year coming into this, it's like, who's going to be that guy that kind of stands out that you're looking forward to watching in the, second, third, even fourth quarter?
I just want to see Justin Ross because it's been a couple of years now. I just feel like this is the guy that we've been watching for, hasn't been really that long, but we feel like we've been watching him for a long time now just to see if he's going to break out. And does he have the potential to be, one of the top 2 or top 3 receivers on this team? And nobody really knows if that's even possible. I mean, he's a first-round talent. We all know that. But at some point, you got to cut bait with some of these guys that don't work out. And that's who I'm looking forward to seeing right now is Justin Ross.
Yeah, Ross last year was coming off of a domestic violence issue at his apartment.
Yeah.
And so it was something that was a big distraction for his career, especially in that moment, because we all kind of felt like, all right, well, this was your last chance. You probably screwed it up. You're probably not going to be making the team. He's still here. I mean, it's still here. Obviously, things got sorted out with that issue. And it's funny enough, he was in the apartments off of Neiman and Johnson Drive. So it was where he was at whenever all that was going down. But I think it had something to do with his crazy girlfriend at the time. So, Yeah, she was out there doing some damage to his car or something like that. I don't know, but
It's always something with your girlfriend, but
that's what was going on. Look, the good news is the Chiefs have retained him, and he's had a really, really good training camp. And so for me, it's been nice to see he's been beating Josh Williams in coverage. And so that is good to see Josh Williams being our number 2 cornerback on this team at the moment. So I just to see him still be able to go out there and make some plays and get his name out there. And what is he, 24, 25 right now? So
25, I think.
Something like that. His career's not over, but this is kind of your make or break. Like if you don't do it now, it's pretty much done.
And it's all about the mindset. And I can say that in my life, in your life, all of our lives. Can you get your mindset to the right place?
Yeah.
Where you can show some consistency and get onto the field and be an impact player in the NFL. And that's what I'm looking forward to see with him.
Yeah, he'd be a great red zone threat if we can get to that point.
Gosh, man.
So what about you, Tanner?
So I always like to focus on the defensive side of the ball for young guys and stuff. So currently with actually a lot of, it doesn't seem like a lot of turnover, but the linebacking core, we talked about the depth side of it. We have Jacobs Curtis there. We've seen Cochran.
I'll be curious if it's going to be an issue or not, because
that's the
thing
issue.
is those outside guys, the middle, Jack Cochran's been around a bit.
Correct.
I think he's better than some of the guys we've had in the past as a backup. But those guys on the outside edge that are going to be more of a concern after Leo, after Drew Tranquill, and what that's going to look like for this team.
Jacobs Curtis is a guy, a rookie, that I'm curious to see how he performs and see how he looks. Cole Christensen, another guy for behind that's currently behind Chanel.
He was here last year as well.
Correct. Which I'm curious to see how he's developed since then. But Cam Jones and rookie Bozeman or Swayze Bozeman, also deep in the depth chart. How are these rookies adapting to these roles, and what do they look like? I mean, that's kind of where I'm focused in right now, because if I look at defense as a whole, the depth of the linebacking core is concerning.
Yeah, I could see that being true. That is something to take some consideration of as the year goes on, and hopefully everyone stays healthy. But I mean, I could see some holes there if something goes wrong.
Yeah, like so we've seen, Bolton's already been out a few times for practice. Was it elbow, shoulder, something like that?
Yeah, I think he had an elbow.
It was something that mattered. So you had like Bolton. Bolton's beat up, man. I mean, he led the tackles for the Chiefs 2 years ago.
Yeah, which is normal for middle linebackers.
So like you got that kind of usage. Like you got to have guys be able to swap out. So do we have an effective backup that can give Bolton that rest, that can give Chanel that rest, can give Drew that rest?
They need somebody to stand out in that role without a doubt. And also, I felt like Willie Gay provided a lot of flexibility when it comes to coverage as well as pass rush if needed as well. I'd like to see one of these linebackers in the depth role show us they have an ability to rush the passer, because Drew Tranquill is not necessarily going to be that guy. Leo Chanel is a great run stopper, but I don't know that he's going to be one of those true, over front type of linebackers that can rush the passer kind of consistent basis. He's more of your run stopping guy. I want to see one of these linebackers be able to prove he can blitz every once in a while and get to the quarterback. So it might be Leo. I'm just saying we haven't really seen a whole lot of that yet.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see Leo get a bigger role this year. So
for me, I'm going to keep it short and simple. I'm just looking to LRZ. Looking forward to watching how he's used. If he can make a play, maybe make a big play at some point in this game, and get a role within the team for himself, whether it's going to be as a third down back maybe, or as a kick returner, something like that. Something along those roles that's going to stand out and solidify his spot in the team, because he's got a lot of publicity out there nationally.
I mean, three-year deal. That's not Chiefs, counting against the salary cap right now.
Chiefs are obviously valuing him and have some thought put into him. So hopefully that's some positive things. We'll see.
I agree.
So looking forward to the game though. Yes. Guys, so let's continue on with our fantasy football coverage we've been going over the last few weeks. So today we're going to play a little game, of course. We like to play games here, like Saw. I like to play a game.
Do you want to play a game?
Well, it's not that friendly, Tanner. We're not friendly about this. This is a game that's not easy to deal with. And that is, if you guys have been checking the stock market and crypto market lately, that is the game we're talking about right now. Where if you've been checking your portfolio, it's probably in the shitter. But that does not mean it doesn't come back. And suddenly those green candles come back. and they shoot straight up your ass and send you lots of money, at least temporarily. So our game today is basically pump or dump is what we're playing today with a few prospects in mind. We have 5 of them for you guys, as a matter of fact. And so the idea of this game right now is basically we're going to tell you a player, tell you where his current PPR listing is at right now, ADP wise. And we're going to tell you whether his stock is going to pump or dump on this show right now. So is he going to be, is he going to be a Bitcoin? Is he going to be a Solana? Is he going to be a Dogecoin? Is he Shiba Inu? Maybe a Shiba Inu. I was petting a Shiba Inu earlier today, as a matter of fact. So
you did.
That was
amazing.
a good luck Shiba Inu pet.
That was amazing.
That was going on. So, anyways, JG, I'm going to go ahead and let you start off and tell me whether you're going to pump or dump right here.
All right. So we're starting with George Pickens, right?
Okay.
All right. So George Pickens last year, 63 receptions, 1,140 yards, 5 touchdowns. Didn't have a whole lot to work with, I don't think, in terms of the quarterback position last year. Now all of a sudden you've got presumably Russell Wilson coming in to be the starter. So I'm going to go pump here because George Pickens, without having much to work with last year and having 1,140 yards receiving, I think that was kind of a down year for him when I think of his skill set. So I'm going to go pump here with George Pickens.
So I have one little curveball to throw in to ask you, though, about George Pickens. If the trade goes down to send Brandon Ayuk to the Steelers, do you still believe in the pump? Or is it going to be like voting for a certain politician, which it would send in the dumper?
I don't think that trade's going to happen. If it does, then I wouldn't do either one. I wouldn't pump or dump. I think it'd probably be right around the same. I would totally trust him to have 1,000 yards receiving, no matter what the situation. But if that were to happen, then I definitely wouldn't be pumping. But assuming that Ayuk doesn't go into that situation, then I'm going to go pump George Pickens.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you on that as well. I mean, you guys know coming out of the draft, I was a big George Pickens fan.
You are, man.
Obviously, the Steelers quarterback situation's not been easy to deal with, as well as the fact Pickens, has had some mental issues. He's been kind of a head case, not trustworthy. When that happens, you're not going to put up consistent numbers. You're going to have a good week and a bad week, but you never know what's going to happen. And Pickens is one of those guys that's been his case so far. But I am hoping this is the year going into year 3 that he can get that stuff figured out and be a more consistent receiver on the field, because the guy's got talent out of his, going crazy. I mean, there's not a whole lot of wide receivers that are as talented with their ball handling as Mr. George Pickens is. And so for me, without a doubt, I believe in the pump, even with the Russell Wilson throwing you the ball. He's not going to put up DK Metcalf numbers, in my opinion. But at the same time, I think he can still put up a really good season. And I would trust Pickens as my WR2 on my team.
Yeah, interesting. So Pickens, it's cool on the Basement Brood guide. They actually do have a graph of the ADP over time, so you can see whether he's pumping or dumping in the rankings here. And currently, George Pickens is a big pump. He is a sharp pump right now in the ADP world. So I agree with that on this here. I think George Pickens is a pump, regardless of the Ayuk situation, going on, that I don't think is going to happen in the end. So I'd be shocked if Ayuk actually leaves in the end, because the 49ers don't act like they want to actually trade him. So anyways, like you said, high end wide receiver 3, wide receiver 2 value I think you can get with him. The only issue I see there with the Pickens situation is, sure, if Russell Wilson is the quarterback, you're screwed with that Pickens pick, but also that Arthur Smith is your OC. And he is a very, very heavy run kind of style OC. And we saw that in Atlanta. We've seen that with everywhere he's gone. So now you're looking at Najee and Jalen being kind of bigger targets than George Pickens right now. So that's the biggest worry, is what does Arthur Smith do with this kind of game? Do they do the play action? Can they get that rolling? But I have a feeling that the targets aren't going to be there. Now, just to note, Deontay Johnson, who got traded to Carolina, that was 234 targets over the last 2 years. So if he can replace that kind of volume plus some, great. But I'd still say punt for him though.
Yeah, I think it looks good. All right, who do we got next on our list? You got our list over there, don't you?
Yeah. So let's talk about Aaron Jones, Minnesota Vikings last year, 656 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Obviously, didn't play a full season there. Now coming in with Sam Darnold as his quarterback, with presumably the worst team in their division. Are we going to pump or dump Aaron Jones? I think that Sam Darnold is a serviceable quarterback in this league, right? So if you're talking about guys that are not really starters, but not really backups either, you got a bunch of guys on your list. You talk about Sam Darnold, you talk about Jimmy Garoppolo, you talk about Gardner Minshew. A lot of guys that they're kind
dare
of that
put Gardner Minshew in that conversation.
they're not really
don't
starters.
You dare
Oh, yeah.
Just shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Oh yeah,
That's
So you
ridiculous.
got guys that they're not really starters, but they're not really backups either. And I feel like Sam Darnold is probably right in that mix in terms of elite guys that are not starters, but also not really backups. So I'm going to go with a pump here on Aaron Jones because I think he has a lot left in the tank, even though the Vikings are probably not going to do a whole lot this year, which is the exact reason why they should rely more on the running game, and they probably will. And I think that with Sam Darnold as his quarterback, he's going to get a lot more done this year than he got done last year.
And by the way, the ADP for Aaron Jones and PPR is 65. And so basically with saying a pump, you're saying he's going to be better than 65 as far as value goes.
That's
on
fine.
your fantasy
yeah,
draft.
I could go with that.
Okay. Just want to make
Yeah.
sure that was kind of clear at least.
Yeah,
in some
absolutely.
kind of way. So, Tanner, you might be a hater, but I'm an Aaron Jones fan myself. And I don't care.
You're pumping?
I don't care what the situation is.
Pump.
I don't care
You're
about Sam
pumping?
Darnold. I'm not worried about Sam Darnold. I think Aaron Jones himself is a really good player, like really freaking good. Better be given credit for. It wasn't that long ago. He led the league in touchdowns rushing,
Correct.
16.
He had a
Right.
good spark score
But
too.
here's the
back in
thing
day.
I want to say about Aaron Jones, and his history is proven, and the current is going to show as well, is that whenever you have a quarterback who's, in my opinion, below average, he's bottom 7 of all starting quarterbacks in the league with Sam Darnold.
Absolutely.
You are going to be doing the check down machine, Matt Castle style to Jamal Charles, and that's what I'm talking about with Aaron Jones. Is it's going to be underneath, check it down 3-5 yards, but you know what? Those catches turn into points. Next thing you know, Aaron Jones might have a day really rushes for 50 yards, but he's got 6 catches for 70 yards, in the air. So that's always a possibility. So for me, I like Aaron Jones as a dual threat running back. And last year, he obviously had some injury issues go on, but I still think this is a 1,000-yard rusher at the end of the day, and as well as a 400-yard receiving back.
I can see a world.
At the end of the day.
I can see a world in which Aaron Jones and JJ are the entire offense, the whole fucking thing, and they're coming. And by the way, coming from behind in almost every freaking game that they play.
Yeah, they are going to come.
Give me-
So they're throwing the ball,
400 yards on the air,
and it's
for Aaron
all
Jones.
JJ and Aaron Jones. That's all they do.
and I'll take 1,000 on the
The whole
ground.
season.
Give me a grand total of 8 touchdowns.
So
I know that's not a lot, but for the Vikings
No.
offense, that's going to be
That'd
probably
be
leading
good.
the team.
It'd be good. So at his ADP is what we're looking for. Are we pumping it or dumping at his ADP, right?
You went pump.
I'm going to go
PPR?
pump.
Go
I'm going to go pump.
His ADP over time did spike a little bit, and then it's nothing but decline, just like Doge and Bitcoin. And
That's
all that
good.
stuff. So it
That's
is.
good.
It is now flatlined. Currently, his latest ADP ranking, as of this update, I guess it was 83 actually. So on one side. So, but look,
We got on ESPN right now, he's number 65.
you look
on
at
keeping-
ESPN for
That-
your ADP rankings.
Talk to this
Are you-
guy.
are you
He told me
kidding
that's
me?
what to go off of.
What are we doing with our life?
Look, all I said was I'll go with the platform. I don't care.
Anyways, it's still 65. If we're talking about 65 ADP for Aaron Jones, I am dumping this extremely. Okay, he's gonna be one of the worst offenses, right? And you're a guy, by the way, year after year that says, "Well, what's the offense like? What's the offense like?" And it's gonna be one of the worst offenses to be there. You never like to go after offenses, and you love Aaron Jones on this one.
They're gonna have to throw the
Blows my
ball
mind.
all day long.
Look, I'm dumping him.
Down,
I don't
down,
like him at 65.
Check down, Charlie.
I don't like him at 65. I like him 70 plus in the rankings here.
Would you take him in the 5th round of the PPR?
What would that be?
Well, I'm just asking. If you're the 5th
What's
round,
that,
let's
what's that
say
ranking. So 12,
I
24.
don't know. You can add him up if you want, Tanner. I'm just asking.
60. That'd be before 60 is in the 5th
No,
round.
I would not. No.
Because in the 5th round, I
No,
would take Aaron Jones.
I would hope you would. I would hope you would. So the value isn't
Well,
there
my
for
auto
me.
pick took Josh Palmer today in the 2nd round.
Which by
Again.
the way, that doesn't make sense to me. But that's MFL. That's
Again,
stupid.
my own fault.
my whole point is when you're the Minnesota Vikings and you
You're-
suck and you're coming from behind in every
No,
freaking
that's
game,
not how it
you're going
works,
to
man.
throw the ball. Yes,
That's not how
it
it
is.
works. You're throwing
That
the
is
ball
how it works.
downfield. You're not pump
Not if you're
checking it
Sam
when you're
Darnold, you
behind.
don't do that, Tanner.
Look, it's JJ McSucky.
Think Sam Darnold's
starts,
going to throw downfield?
Sam the Ghost Darnold.
JJ McSucky.
He thinks Sam Darnold's going to throw downfield.
Sam the Ghost Darnold's going to make bad decisions, not check it down. JJ McSucky's going to do the same thing as a
boy.
rookie. Look, Aaron Jones is not the kind of guy you want to pump for.
They're going to
at
force
65.
feed. They're going to force feed 2 freaking
Great,
guys.
Great. Guess what? There's a
Justin
running back.
Jefferson and Aaron Jones.
There's a
and that's
running
it.
back that offense likes more than Jones, and you'll see it this season. Ty Chandler is going to steal reps from Aaron Jones.
What?
We've already seen Ty Chandler.
What?
Tanner.
Yeah,
No one cares.
What are
about
you
Ty Chandler.
talking
We've already
about?
seen him
Ty
play.
Chandler's going to steal the reps from Aaron Jones. Look, this is
They literally added him this season.
just like
Aaron
his
Jones was picked up
ADP.
as a free agent.
Just like his
They paid his
ADP.
ass.
Listen to me.
They paid his ass.
This coaching staff right now, they know that this team sucks. And all
Yeah.
the coaching staff is trying to do is
Look,
save their jobs
at-
for the following year.
At
You're not going to
65,
save your jobs
at
except with
65,
2 freaking
I am
guys.
dumping this thing. I do
Justin
not want him.
Jefferson and Aaron Jones.
I
That's the
do
only
not
way you
want
can
Aaron
save your
Jones.
freaking job for the following
If
year.
you're telling me-
Otherwise, you're going to get hashtag
If you're telling me I got to pick Aaron Jones at 65, I'm going to pass. So give me the dump.
All
Aaron
right.
Jones.
All right. We got another one, guys. Let's go ahead and move on. Did Tanner ever pick one? I thought did Tanner pick one, or are we just going with this?
No.
He did.
Remember?
No, he did
Tanner-
dump. He said
Tanner-
dump.
I dumped.
No, I'm talking about a player.
No, I
No.
don't know
We're-
any of the players.
We're all doing the same
Hey,
fight.
Jason,
All right,
Jason,
all right.
Dumped
Jason.
So you get fired again, huh?
Oh yeah.
That was a different one. Oh,
Come
yeah.
on, man.
Oh, yeah.
You think that was like, who was that? Why can't we get Vince McMahon on there? That's my
Oh,
favorite. You're fired.
I thought I had it. My bad.
I like
Come
Vince,
on,
I like
man.
Vince's. I like Vince's. You're fired. Anyways, guys, move on to the next one. Move on to the next one. I don't have a lot to say about this one. We got Dak Prescott on the list, number 3 to talk about on our pump or dump segment here. This is an interesting one because, guys, I mean, the idea behind Prescott right now is that, as usual, the Cowboys, you got all the weapons you need. What is there that's really going to trip you up if you have everything you need around you to be successful to run the offense, receiving wise, especially. And CeeDee Lamb is projected to be the number 1 wide receiver in all of fantasy football this year, even over Tyreek Hill on most platforms. And so that tells me they're expecting like 15 touchdowns out of Lamb. Prescott should put up 4,500 yards minimum. But his current ADP, do we have that, Jason? Do you know where his ADP is at?
I got his ADP at 95.
Mr.
but-
Prescott. So on ESPN, to go off Jason's list, 61 is where his ADP is at, based on ESPN's projections. Just letting you know. Anyways,
ESPN has him at 61.
that's what it's listed
Dude, I'm
as
about
for
to go to
this is for
PPR.
PPR.
For PPR.
Yeah, I'm about to go
This
to
is for
ESPN.
PPR.
Man. You go do some best balls.
PPR, Dak Prescott's number 61 on the list. So, guys, okay, you guys know the game.
Just put him at 90.
Pump,
I don't
pump.
care.
Put him at 90. Put him
Put him
at
at 90. I don't give a
60
shit.
61, whatever the hell it was.
Put him wherever. Okay.
Doesn't
What
matter.
are you guys going to do?
61.
You guys going to pump or dump Dak Prescott this year as your number whatever?
So let's talk about Dak Prescott. What did he do last year? 4,500 yards, 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. In my humble opinion, which just so happens to be a fact, he overachieved who he is. I mean, that to me is the epitome of Dak Prescott. He did better than what he actually is. And so I am going to dump Dak Prescott this year, okay? He is not going to throw 9 interceptions. He's probably going to throw 15 interceptions this year. So I'm going to dump him. I don't care if you want to put him at 60. You could put him at 85. You could put him at 95. I don't give a shit. I'm going to dump Dak Prescott as his ADP because he was an overachiever last year. He's not that good, bro. Don't look at me like that. He's not that good. Are you kidding me?
Oh my god.
36
ahead,
touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Really? You think he's going to do that again
Go ahead, Mike.
or improve on that? Heck no.
That's fine.
No, he's going
We'll
downhill.
talk in a minute.
I'm going to do a
Yeah,
dump.
man.
I'm all out dump on Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I just think what he had last year is pretty much the top out of what he's capable of. So for me,
Thank you.
So for me to put it that way, I would just say that it's not going to get better. I mean, your yardage might, because we play a 17 game season. So I mean, you never know how things are to look in the standings, and you might be playing, every single down. Where some teams like the Chiefs, get to have a week off here and there. I think that at the end of the day, for me, Prescott's not on my radar as a pick by any means, and I wouldn't draft him by any means.
Dump his
For
ass.
me, unfortunately,
his ass.
you and I are going to agree on the first three, so I'm going to go dump as well. So I'm going to dump that bitch, and it is going to be in the shitter for a while, and it's not going to be like crypto, because crypto, can dump and come back and pump again. This one is just going to dump, and that'll be, the downside of the career of Dak Prescott is that it's going to be on the way down and stay down.
Let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about it. You guys just mentioned last year's stats for Dak Prescott, right? What did he do the 2 years before that? Any idea?
5,000 yards.
You're looking for consistency, is what I'm hearing, right? You want consistency.
I want
Sure.
people that don't turn the fucking ball over.
So
That's
you
what I
love
want.
Sam Darnold to Aaron Jones, but you hate Dak Prescott. So,
Sure. Well, whatever
just what I mean.
however you want to define
Okay,
that, man.
let's talk about it. Last 3 seasons, okay, Dak Prescott has thrown for at least 4,449 passing yards. Okay. Last 3 seasons, 4,449 pass yards. That includes the 2022 season where he missed 5 games. He has thrown for 36 plus TDs the last 2 years, 2 out of 3. Again, he missed 5 games in 2022. He was on pace for 32.6 touchdowns that year. So even if we're talking 32 plus touchdowns, possibly for 3 consecutive years. Okay. That's consistency to me. He's also, if you look at kind of the betting odds of places too, tied for 11th best odds for winning MVP, 3rd best odds for leading the NFL in passing yards. His over-under is 41.50. Over-under and passing touchdowns is 31.5. Okay. This is perfect for him here. In 115 regular season games, Prescott's averaging a sterling 19 fantasy points per game, scoring 15 or more fantasy points in 75 of 115 games, which is 65.2% of the time, including 20 plus fantasy points in 55 of 115 games of 47.8. This guy at 61, what was it? 61?
Yeah, 61 is a PPR ranking ESPN.
Look, I love it. I'm going for him, but I am dumping him at 61. Despite what I just told you, there's other value out there at 61. You do not draft Dak Prescott at this point. Now, let's say we get closer to what I have at 95. Well, yeah, I'm pumping him. I'm pumping him big time. So
yeah, there's a big discrepancy there between the numbers based on what ESPN shows versus what you told us you're seeing right now.
I am not pumping that guy in the top 100.
At 65.
Yeah.
Oh, 65, I'm dumping.
Yeah, I am.
Now I'm 65. I'm dumping. If you're telling me he's right around 90,
would you actually? Because you just said you would not draft him at all. So
no, I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did.
I'm going to make a prediction. I'll make a prediction right now. He's going to injure his cock.
Well, I think what I said is he's off my radar.
You can't play on injuries, man.
Yes, you can.
No.
What I was saying was he's off my radar because he's not someone I care about drafting. I think there's I have a different quarterback that I particularly want, and so I'm just worried about that. That's my point.
Look, just because Starcy's on here doesn't mean you got to talk about Josh Allen, okay?
Well, he's got a stupid mustache now, so only one guy can have a mustache around the league, and that's Mr. Kelsey.
Starsky says we need some dump and pump sound effects. Next time I get warning, we'll get some on.
We're going to talk about his boy later.
Bakken shows down. He goes, "Look at this sad sack of gentlemen."
Yeah, it is a sad sack, man. It is a sad sack without a doubt. I still feel bad about those pizzas that got left behind after the draft.
Right?
Because I didn't know what the hell was going on out there, and there's pizzas that I didn't know about.
I just want to go back. Cowboys, Dak. I mean, Cowboys were top 2, top 3 offense last 3 years. Just remember that.
On paper, they probably will be top 5 again, of course.
Well, that's what you want from a fantasy.
I get it. I know.
That's all I'm saying.
Look, at 61, I'm not taking him.
No, there's 90, no way.
90, I'll probably take him if he's
dump.
there.
Yeah, it's a dump.
Anyways, guys, we got 2 more. God, damn it. A few more. These last two are not as fun to talk about. Don't worry.
Ah.
I mean, I like to talk about these guys, but Chris Godwin is on my list right now. Chris Godwin is one that I find to be very interesting given the situation anyway. Let's see, where is he at on our list here, man? I had it earlier. Where the hell did he go? Mr. Godwin, what do you have on your list, Tanner, for Mr. Godwin ADP?
Right now I got 57.
57 for Godwin. So that is nowhere near. Okay, he's 53 on our list.
That's a lot closer than we've been. So
53 for Godwin on this situation then. Okay. So my question about Godwin though. So, he's been a guy, I think a couple of years ago, really seemed to top out, reliable, consistent guy. With Tom Brady was awesome. I mean, I thought he put up great numbers with Brady. He was that ideal middle, intermediate to underneath receiver for a guy like Brady. I think Evans and Baker Mayfield fit better together as a tandem than Godwin does in particular. But that doesn't mean Godwin's done for, I don't think. I think at 53, though, given the injury history and just kind of the way we've seen things unfold over the last couple of years, I think I'd go with a dump on that situation with Mr. Godwin at this point. So I'm going to go a dump on Chris Godwin at number 53.
All right. I'm glad you brought up that injury history because last year with 83 receptions, 1,024 yards, and 2 touchdowns, that's not what he is to me as a player. Like Chris Godwin should score like between 5 and 10 touchdowns per year. And that's why I'm going to go with a pump here. And I know a lot of people are out there. They think Baker Mayfield's a piece of shit. And maybe he is, but he's probably not as bad as you think he is.
Better than Sam Darnold.
Not quite as bad as you think he is.
Better than Sam Darnold.
And so 57 ADP, I'm going to go with a pump here. It's very confusing here because 1,024 yards. I mean, that's just kind of right in the middle. You could go either way on that.
But it's the touchdowns you're talking about.
For me, it's the touchdowns that you're going to see a positive regression there. And for me, I've never been, as a KU fan, I've never been a Baker Mayfield guy. Okay. I'm not a big fan of the person, but as a quarterback in the NFL, like, I feel like he's a guy that can get the job done. And I feel like Chris Godwin is a guy that can have some positive regression for sure this year. So I'm going to go with a pump on Chris Godwin.
Would you have a dump?
I had a dump for Godwin.
Okay. At 53, you had a pump for Godwin.
Based on the ADP is why I'm
correct. Yeah, ADP. That's what we're working on.
Some of the injury history.
Yeah,
I understand the touchdown point. I understand the touchdown point. For me, it's going to be a small dip. I'm not going to say it's going to be a crash like we saw recently in crypto, but it's going to be a small dip. Is what I'm going to say. Probably, down 5 to 10% from what we saw the previous season.
So here's the deal, right? For Godwin, great season last year, right? Almost pretty close to career. Not career season, but close to it, right? We talked about KU fans right now liking Baker. What does KU fans hate more? Kentucky. Okay, think about that. Kentucky is our enemy. Dave Canales moved on to the Panthers head coach ranks. Dave Canales was the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers last year. That did help Godwin have a 1,000+ yard season. That did help Mike Evans have a 1,000+ yard season. That did help Baker Mayfield look like he's been rejuvenated in his career. He also had, great, literally season records for Russell Wilson's, Doug Baldwin as well, Geno Smith. The guy's worked miracles. The guy is no longer there. They now have a college. They have a guy from Kentucky now running the offense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is bad. This is not going to be the same offense. This is not going to run the same way that you all anticipate here. This is going to be a negative regression. At 53, I am taking the dump big time. But his ADP currently with the trend is a pump right now. So I'm taking the dump despite his ADP jumping up, just due to the fact that you don't have Dave Canales there anymore. You don't have the guy that can run the offense. And I don't trust this Kentucky guy. I can't remember his name right now, but I don't trust him as the OC for this offense. Because OC for offense, they never got stuff going in Kentucky anyways. They won a few games where they couldn't win the big games, and they did not look good at all consistently. So I'm going dump.
All right. We got 2 dumps and 1 pump, I guess, on that one. Next on our list and last, let's talk about Curtis Samuel. for the Buffalo Bills right
Interesting.
now. And this one is interesting to me because of so much being up in the air with the Buffalo Bills offense and a lot of unknown about, who's going to fill the roles within the offense at the receiving position. Obviously, us being Chiefs fans, we've seen MVS really struggling at training camp, which is not a surprise to us. But we're basically seeing who's going to fill in some roles here because, Stephon Diggs is gone. Gabe Davis has been gone.
Yep.
And so we're looking at an offense right now at the receiving position that is really up in the air. It's like, who's going to step up? And Curtis Samuel's been a guy who's been bounced around the league a little bit. Never really found a great role for him that's consistent. What are the odds that, Curtis Samuel right now, what is your ADP you found, Tanner?
Sorry, his ADP currently is 91.
91
on my sheet. So
okay, so 91 for Curtis Samuel on your end of things. So, last year he had 600 yards receiving and 4 receiving touchdowns. I kind of feel like, given the situation with him being with Josh Allen and them needing to figure out who's going to step up and make plays, that Curtis Samuel is kind of has to produce based on what's going to be some volume. It's not going to be an offense that's lining up an I formation and pounding the rock. It's not going to be Jim Harbaugh calling plays out there. It's not going to be a situation where the Chargers are going to be handing the ball off. It's the Bills. The running back half the time is Josh Allen, and the receiving game is going to go through a combination of Dalton Kincaid and James Cook from time to time. But then after that, it's like, man, who's going to step up? Who's going to make plays?
Yeah.
And so for me, I think Curtis Samuel does improve, does have a positive season based off of last year, has more than 600 yards and closer to 5 or 6 touchdowns receiving. So I'm going to go a pump, but it's going to be a mini pump for Mr. Curtis Samuel.
Ooh, I tricked you on this one, bro. I tricked you because I wrote down dump on this piece of paper right now, but the fact that the guy has never touched the ball more than 500 times in his whole career, and as you stated earlier, there's not a whole lot of offense on that Buffalo Bills team. The guy has only had 317 receptions, 121 rushing attempts in his career. And when you talk about the name Curtis Samuel, all we think about is like a guy that gets injured. Pulls his hamstring all the time, can't stay healthy. And that may be true. I'm going mega pump on this guy because he hasn't really had a chance. Like he hasn't been fully healthy very often in his career. And I feel like this is a guy who is still young in terms of the mileage that is on his legs. And Curtis Samuel is going to be a pump. No, I don't care what his ADP is. I'm going to take the over on that.
He's 129 right now on ESPN.
129.
Is that what it is?
I'm going to go ultra pump on this. He went mini pump. I'm going ultra pump. Tanner, what do you got?
You guys kind of took it from me here. This is also one of the best offenses he's been a part of, right? Josh Allen, you got
a guy that can throw the ball downfield.
You compete with Khalil Shakir, which was pretty average last year for his first year, I believe it was, for a rookie.
Oh, Shakir's a really good receiver.
Shakir's gonna be great. I think he's gonna be good.
That's what I'm kind of debating right now is who's going to be the number 1 receiver between Khalil Shakir.
Do you go with the vet or
and
do you go with the young guy?
Truth be told, in my opinion, I think Shakir
should be
with having that year with Josh Allen already is your number 1.
Correct.
But even then, it's not like a true number 1. It's going to be something where if he gets 70 catches, then Curtis Samuel's going to get 68.
And you also
it's going to be 1A, 1B.
Include James Cook in this. You got to include Dalton Kincaid in the targets. You also got to include Ray Davis for it as well. So
Kincaid's going to be their number 1 targeted
correct
option in the receiving game.
And then
so
don't forget though too, Josh Allen loves his tight ends. Dawson Knox is still there. That guy 2 years from now.
Well, Dawson Knox is going to be in line.
Yeah.
Whereas Kincaid's going to be your slot receiver.
Kincaid's if something happens, for sake, if something happens to Kincaid, like Dawson Knox is next up in line. So, but look, this is one of the best offenses that Curtis Samuel's ever been a part of with Josh Allen there. An offense that goes downfield. I don't think you're gonna have the same kind of Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis effect here, but they're leaving 14 plus targets per game on the table. A top 46 wide receiver in 5 of the last 6 seasons with a career best finish at wide receiver 25 in 2020. Look, the Bills have no reason not to throw to this guy. He's going to be open. He's going to be playing on the field. He's going to be there. And you're telling me, what was that? 124?
129 on ESPN.
129 ADP. Ladies and gentlemen, Basement Brew Fans Football Draft Guide has him ranked 88th. 88th. You know how many players you can take between 85th between Curtis Samuel? If you wanted to wait on Curtis Samuel, you could wait 2 or 3 rounds before you have to actually take him.
My point.
Insane. I'm pumping this guy extremely. His ADP currently too is a pump. It's a big pump. So we're going to pump.
My point would be is you also want to use him as a running back because we've been talking about this for years is that Josh Allen is basically Cam Newton 2.0. And you don't want to get this guy banged up for his career and shorten his career. You want to have guys that you want to have extra running backs.
Well, Curtis Samuel, you don't want behind the. No, this is a guy that also has injury history too. So
I don't care.
You don't want him. You don't want him as a running back.
No,
you don't want to use him as a running back. If you want him on the field, you don't use this guy as a running back.
You're not going to use Josh Allen as a running back. That's the whole point.
Well, then you're not going to win games. Josh Allen's game is we're using his legs.
Okay, so you want to have a short career like Cam Newton for Josh Allen, basically.
Talk to Josh Allen. If he can learn to pass the ball correctly.
I want as many running backs. If I'm the coach, I want as many running backs on the field as I can get to lengthen Josh Allen's career.
Yeah, but that's not the game that you're going to get from Josh Allen. He's not going to let you do that. That's not the way
he's going to learn the hard way. Then he's far enough into the league.
He started last year.
He's far enough into the league that he needs to learn to throw the ball and hand the ball off to his rushers.
What happened the last 3 games in the season going into the playoffs? He was banged up. He said he hurt in his back, his legs, but he continued to do what he does normally. And that's what we talked about. We talked to the Buffoons last year on this thing too. We talked about Josh Allen. We talked about his impact, what he has to do different, and he can't do it. He led the league in picks through 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's why he's like a combo.
Can't do it.
He's like Cam Newton and Jay Cutler.
Hand the ball off.
Yeah, legit.
Hand the ball off to your running backs. Hand the ball off to Curtis Samuel because Thurman Thomas is not walking through that freaking door.
I'm just saying that's not going to happen.
They need OJ Simpson.
Yeah. No, he's not walking through the door either. So,
all right, guys, we got
we did get Starsky here. He said he's going to pump his Bills receiver. Dalton's number 1, Shakir number 2. He will be in the backfield for Samuel, which is
he'll be used in the backfield for sure at times. I mean, he's not going to be a full-time running back, but there's going to be packages where he's back there. But
Cam 2.0 is nice, much better than Mike's poor man's Cam. yeah. You called him a poor man Cam's Newton one day.
Well,
that's Starsky will never forget it. So
I remember seeing Cam Newton, and Allen's never been that good. So you know the MVP season I'm talking about.
Yeah. Hey.
Saying
did Cam Newton go to the Super Bowl?
He did.
Oh,
he carried a team.
He went to a Super Bowl.
No,
did he actually win league? Did he win the league MVP?
One
he
MVP.
did.
Oh, he did.
He did.
Holy shit.
And he did it with a very average team around him. By the way,
he did.
Unlike somebody else is capable of doing. So
there you go, Starsky. Congratulations on your Josh Allen. Used to be in the playoffs.
Poor man's Cam Newton. That's also like Jay Cutler. Every once.
He's basically the white version.
Oh, he's the white.
He's
Cam
the white
Newton.
Cam Newton.
Yeah,
that's all you gotta say.
Yep.
Have fun with that.
Sounds about right to me. Sounds good to me.
Oh yeah, we love all the white boys we can get on.
Oh Jesus, dude.
Woo! Well, Tanner does. All right. Anyways, guys, we got 2 more quick things to talk about for a minute here. We got a little fun one real quick though. Let's do this first with you guys, and then we'll talk Royals for a second. I wanted to play a game with you guys. I know this episode's kind of ran a little longer than I was expecting because we just got rambling.
Good conversations.
But I heard on the radio recently these guys coming up with this idea, and I wanted to do it with you guys because I love hearing you guys' fast food takes and opinions because I think it's all trash for the most part. Just like Jason talking about his Mount Rushmore barbecue earlier had me cracking up a little bit, but we'll save that for a later day. Anyways. My thing I want to bring up to you guys is the idea of the perfect combo meal combined with any restaurant and item you want it to be. So basically, you can say you want the whatever burger from Burger King, you want the fries from McDonald's, and you want either a soda or ice cream from Culver's, for instance. And so I wanted to hear you guys' opinions and thoughts on what would be your ultimate combo meal if you could get your perfect item from each location. What would that be?
Well, what's the categories? Break it down real quick. What are the categories we got?
Your first category, your main course, is going to have to be like a primary item. It's going to have to either be a burger of some kind, be a fucking hot dog, It can be a
So your main
barbecue
course,
sandwich.
Your main course.
It can be a patty melt.
Yeah.
If you want it to be. The second option has to be a side.
Okay.
Chicken nuggets are allowed. French fries are the primary thing I'm going for.
Chicken nuggets are allowed.
They're allowed to be a side if you want it to be. But the fries are the primary
And
option.
we're
for the
talking
side.
just strictly fast
You
food.
could-
Has
yes,
to have a
only-
drive-through. Be
Only
quick.
Yes, only fast food.
Okay.
It could even be a salad if you want it to be. If you want to be crazy. And then the last thing has to be either a drink or ice cream
Okay.
from your favorite place. What would be your ultimate combo meal to get?
The
So
goat meal.
yeah. So, anyways, I want to hear you guys' opinions about this because I find it interesting.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
I mean,
Jason.
I had to cheat, so
You had to cheat.
yeah, I cheated like I always do on this segment. But so main course is going to be the double from In-N-Out Burger with grilled onions.
How did I know
that is
In-N-Out was
my
coming
main
in this?
course? You didn't have.
Hey,
to
that's
think
a good
too
I
long.
That's a
knew
good
it was
option.
coming.
Dude, I'm a big In-N-Out Burger fan, so I love that pick.
And when I thought about side, this is where it got interesting because I thought about all the best sides at fast food restaurants that I've ever had in my life. And the only thing that I could come up with was another main course. So we're going to go with as my side, one of my main courses from Jack in the Box is the 2 tacos from Jack in the Box. So I'm going to use what could be my main course. Well, obviously you'd probably order 6 of them at that point, 6 or 8 of those
6
tacos.
or 8. Yeah, I was about to say.
Because they're amazing. They have grease leaking all over the place. I'm going to use that as my side. And for my dessert, I'm going obviously with the Culver's concrete chocolate ice cream, Oreos, and Reese's peanut butter cups coming out my ass. They never short you on candy. Okay.
No, they
when
don't.
you go to
Right?
Dairy
They don't.
Queen, if you go to Dairy Queen, they'll just give you a little piddly amount of tiny amount of
Dude,
candy.
I haven't had.
I can't
If
If
stand
you
my
go to
hand.
Culver's,
forever.
bro, they will
Yeah.
give you all the candy you want. And so Culver's chocolate concrete with peanut butter cups and Oreo cookies.
I do like the peanut butter cups. That's cool. Yeah, I'm cool with those. So, all right, I like the list, man. I'm glad you went to the ice cream route because I mean I figured to give you guys an option, because you're not
Yeah.
gonna have ice cream plus a drink. That doesn't really make sense.
But I also went Mexican American,
You did.
right?
Yeah, I
Did
don't
I
know.
not
I don't
go
know if I'd call those. I
Mexican-American?
think Mexicans are offended by that.
It might be,
If
actually.
we're talking about Jack in the Box tacos being
A
Mexican,
slice of cheese on top of
I have
meat.
a feeling I know some Mexicans. They would not like that too much. So,
Well, they should. They should investigate that a little bit more.
all right, I know Mexicans that won't even eat Chipotle. So,
All right.
Well, they shouldn't because it sucks.
Let's see here. My main course is going to be the double bacon deluxe cheeseburger at Culver's. It's the best cheeseburger around.
Tanner loves
First off.
Culver's. He loves
Best
Culver's.
cheeseburger around. And I knew you guys are going to get me on this.
Culver's.
Bacon deluxe. What the hell are you talking
I-
about?
man.
I actually was going to do Jack in the Box tacos as well for my side because I think
Whoa!
so, that
That's
worked out.
amazing.
I'm not
That
really
worked out.
surprised by that.
That worked out. So
That's awesome.
and drink or ice cream. Quite frankly, Chick-fil-A has cherry Coke, so I'm going cherry Coke.
So, okay, specifically Chick-fil-A's cherry Coke. Okay.
Correct.
Now, I appreciate that because not all fast food restaurants have the same tasting
Well,
sodas.
they don't. So
like McDonald's is known for their Coke being special. Because
McDonald's,
like,
Dr. Pepper, Coke, and all that stuff's
stuff's
great.
really
but,
really good.
but when you have a cherry Coke, it's like unique and you go
Well,
for
so
it.
like movie theater Cokes. You guys have had movie
Yeah,
theater.
yeah.
That for some reason the sodas at movie theaters taste better than normal. Like I don't know.
And
what
they
they do
just
to
up
it.
the carbonation a little bit, just like McDonald's
Probably.
does. So
Yeah, I don't know something about that. Okay, good list. You guys both going Jack in the Box on me. That's funny at the tacos.
Well,
but-
I was trying to think. I was
You
like,
go fat
no.
burger on me.
No, you guys aren't gonna like you guys not gonna like what I'm about to say right now. So my number one fast food would be now. I don't know if it's cheating or not. I don't think so because it's still fast food. But I went with Five Guys. I'm hoping you guys don't think that that's some nonsense there. But Five Guys bacon cheeseburger with all the toppings. I'm talking about the jalapenos and everything else they can throw on there as that option. I love their burgers, man. Their patties. There's something about those burgers that are just terrific to me, and the combination of everything right there. And I don't eat Five Guys very often. I haven't had it in probably 2 years, but I love their burgers, man. There's something about them that are just is terrific to me. And so that'd be my number one main meal right there with the Chick-fil-A waffle fries. And I love me some Chick-fil-A waffle fries.
Ooh.
They're-
See,
they're a
they
little
were
salt-
second. They were second on my list.
See, they're salty, but I love the fact that they're waffle fries. So you get that big old ketchup container that they give you at Chick-fil-A,
Yeah.
and you can dip the hell out of that shit, and you'll get good scoops on those waffle fries. It's like eating, I don't know, waffle fries are probably my favorite fries other than sweet potato fries.
They are by far.
Anyways, and then I got to go with my favorite just because I'd have to stop in there. But I'm a Taco Bell fanboy. I have been since I was born, so I get the Baja Blast Zero. What I'd go with on that one for the drink.
So bonus round.
Bonus round.
What dipping sauce would you get? If you had to go dipping sauces.
Dipping sauce, man.
What do you like?
I don't think anyone really gives a shit about.
I go Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A sauce.
I do like condiments.
Chick-fil-A sauce all day long.
I'm a big condiment guy. Chick-fil-A sauce is great. I'm a condiment guy, so my dipping sauces are all in my fridge right now.
What about can I just dump some Quick Trip, some cheese?
Sure, yeah.
Cheese he does like that.
Yeah,
the nacho cheese from Quick Trip. Just dump it on everything.
Yeah, dude.
I'm glad you brought up Five Guys, because if I could give my number 2 side order, it would be the grilled cheese.
You do love your grilled cheese, man.
I love their
cheese.
Yeah,
but dude, I love their burgers. The burgers at Five Guys are amazing.
Yeah.
But that would be my number 2 side behind the Jack in the Box tacos. Would be a grilled cheese with grilled onions and peppers and all the things you want, because you can add all the toppings you want onto that freaking grilled cheese at Five Guys. That would have been.
I will say,
I've actually never ordered that before.
So I stuck to places with just drive-through, but the spot in Leawood next to Town Center.
Shake Shack.
Yes.
Shake Shack, I do love Shake Shack.
I ate it last night.
Did you?
I had it last night? Yeah.
I was there like 3 weeks ago, and I told you guys, man, Shake Shack's one of my favorite places.
Well, my wife and I are addicted to it because they did away with Burger Fi.
Yeah, because Burger Fi's gone. So
dude, I love Shake. I've been to the one down. I've been to the one
at
the Plaza.
Yeah.
I've been to the one at the Plaza. I've been to the one over in Leawood.
Yeah.
And God, man, that place is solid.
So
solid every time.
We went there a couple weeks ago, and
they have it in Vegas.
Yeah, I know
they go to Vegas.
Dude,
I stay at New York. I stay at New York every time I go to Vegas. And
so Burger Fi is right there.
Well, Shake Shack's right there. So I go to I go to Shake Shack.
I don't know why we keep saying that shit.
But so we went there a couple weeks ago. So last time Kira had it, she was pregnant with Tinsley, so she didn't really eat because it just wasn't that appetizing to her. So she had it for the first time essentially this time around. Yes, it was delicious. They do hide their salad wraps. I didn't see the salad wrap till we left, but they do have salad wrap burgers. So they'll have to get that next time.
Shake Shack has been around. They've been around so long, and nobody ever even knew about it. It's like they're just coming onto the scene in Kansas.
Want to know the hidden place in Johnson County that no one knows about?
What's that?
It's Beefaroo.
Zarda Barbecue.
Oh, down on 135th and
Beefaroo.
Beefaroo. Yeah, I know.
First of all, there's like no signage hardly at all.
No. It took over the chicken place.
Zaxby's or
Zaxby's. Yeah, it took over Zaxby's up there.
Yeah, Beefaroo, man, it's actually not bad. I'm just saying, I had it not.
You had it, Branson or
I had it down south in Missouri. I had it down there, man. Beefaroo wasn't too bad. I didn't hate it, and I remember looking it up. I'd be like, "What the hell? There's a Beefaroo out where you live too?" And sure, it's there, but it's kind of hard to find. Like you got to be looking for it.
Correct. Yeah, like you're not going to just spot it.
But yeah. I need to stop in there again at some point just to say I had it again here in Kansas.
I gotta go try it.
You haven't had it yet, have you?
No.
It's good, man. It's good.
You said it was good.
I'm not saying it's Shake Shack. I'm saying it's decent. It's better than Whataburger. I'll tell you that much.
Oh gosh!
You guys
don't even say that.
You guys already know how I feel about Whataburger.
Don't talk
that
about
place.
That.
That place is terrible.
I don't want to hear about Whataburger.
If you want to wait 20 minutes and get a below average burger, then go ahead, go to Whataburger and sit around and waste a bunch of time.
I'll go to the Mahomes location if I can get his autograph.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. All right, guys. Good news is, if we can move along here for just a moment and then wrap it up. Bobby Witt had 2 home runs today, as a matter of fact. Guys, putting him at 22 on the season right now. He had 4 RBIs. The Royals did get a win today, 8-4 over the Red Sox. So that's good news. They didn't end the series with a sweep. Obviously, the previous 2 games were not so pretty. So it's nice to see them get back on top again. They're 12 games above 500 right now. So still above the Red Sox by a couple games at the moment. But guys, we play this little game every 2 weeks. As you guys know, we've been bi-weekly on the show lately. So the state of the Royals is kind of what we've been talking about each week for just a few moments. And, I do want to say one thing that I want to point out. I have liked that the Royals have been trying to do different things with the leadoff hitter position because it has been frustrating all year long. And they've been using Michael Massey now in the leadoff position. Not saying he's the perfect option. They've also used Freddie Fermin as the leadoff hitter. I've obviously rotated in Garcia, rotated in Frazier over the course of the season. And it's been irritating because it seems like no matter who you put in there, they somehow find a way to just not get any hits when it matters. But I'm glad they're at least working things in, working some ideas in. And Freddie Fermin batting over 300 seems like he'd be a good fit. But Michael Massey has now been the one starting to step up in that position now, getting some hits when they matter. And I feel like maybe he's the guy down the stretch of the season that ends up being the primary leadoff guy to finish off the year. The other thing I want to say and point out is just that I have enjoyed the newcomers to the team for the most part. Obviously, the Royals did some trades before the deadline. We told you guys here on the show that the Royals were one of the most active teams in the MLB in the trade deadline process, and that came to fruition, didn't it?
It did.
The Royals ended up making some moves. Not saying they went out and got Mark McGwire. I'm saying they went out there and made some moves that were going to matter. So, and it did.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's been some impactful players involved in this, and Harvey, for instance, is a guy that they think might be a closer, but we've seen him fail at times. But man, I'm pretty excited to see Paul DeYoung, how he goes along with his team as time goes on. And then I really enjoyed the pitcher. Alec Marsh has now been sent down. So Michael Lorenzen had a really good game the other day. I was really excited to see that, and he was awesome. Royals didn't win that game, but man, it's good to see some stuff like that at least. And then in the bullpen, Urseg. I mean, I think he looks solid as hell. So there's some good things going with the Royals right now. So how are you guys feeling right now? Still 12 games above 500. It feels like we're kind of in the same spot we've been pretty much all year, but that's not a bad thing. We're in the mix.
I feel better than I ever have at this point in the year because I've been telling you guys that there's a chance that they're going to win the division. I think
Cleveland's lost 5 in a row.
Cleveland's not giving up the division.
Every time that
they've lost 5 in a row, Tanner.
They're not giving up the division.
We started this discussion, I don't know how many weeks ago, probably 2 months ago. And I told you guys, I think it was 50-50. Are they going to make the playoffs or are they not going to make the playoffs? And I think we all agreed that they were going to hit, no matter what, they were going to hit that wild card, no matter what. And I started to tell you guys probably 3 to 4 weeks ago, no, they're better than that. They're going to win the division. I don't know why I said that. The bullpen is horrific. Their bullpen scares the living shit out of me. And then all of a sudden I look up the standings right here, right now. They're 4.5 games out of first.
And Cleveland's been failing.
So
man.
I am not.
They've also been winning. Same time. They're not. It's not bad.
I'm not going to waver.
They're fine.
I'm not going to waver. I do believe that there's a very good chance that we do win the division this year. I don't know what it is. We're in the wild card right now.
So you're saying yes to the playoffs still?
Well, I'm saying
that's
yes.
a question for the end of this segment.
Okay, my bad.
But
well, they're already.
I
want to
point out something though, Tanner. You know the schedule. So you're saying basically the next 2 series against Cleveland, which is the Royals have 2 more series, I believe, against Cleveland. Royals win both of those series. 2 out of 3. You have to. 2 out of 3. For you to win the division, you got to win 2 out of 3 in both of those.
I'll go for that. We're going to
win
the division.
That's what's going to have to happen. Then.
We're going to win the division, or it's going to be extremely close. Like I'm looking at the standings right now, 4.5 back. You're going to be looking at the standings at the end of those 2 series, and it's going to be 0.5, 1.0, 1.5. This is not something that you can just take to the bank and say that, no, we can't see the Royals winning the division. Like this could legitimately
Tanner's
happen,
counting that out
guys.
right now. Tanner says there's no chance.
This can legitimately happen. But the only thing that matters to me is that we're in the big dance, and we will be in the big dance.
Where
it's not 50-50 anymore.
Okay, so what about the Twins, man? What about the Twins? Are you saying that they're going to crap the bed too?
You can talk to him about the Twins. I don't care about.
But you got to care about the Twins. They're ahead of us, man.
He can talk to you about that stuff.
Yeah, they're barely ahead of us at the moment.
Correct.
I mean, the Twins are there.
They're hovering right there with us.
They're with. But to his point, if the Royals go out there and do beat Cleveland, 2 out of 3 both times, I think that's probably enough to where we'd be jumping ahead of the Twins at that point.
You'd have to sweep them. Tell you that much.
Probably. I mean, I would say at least one of those series you got to sweep.
There's a big series this weekend. Twins, Cleveland, as well.
Well, there you go. They can knock each other out a little bit.
And then you guys got to call Connor the next weekend and say, "Hey, take care of the business." So because they got Milwaukee.
Well, the Brewers are a great team.
So
why can't they take care of business?
Look,
Can we at least flip a coin here and say that we all three agree, like we always do, that we're going to be in the big dance?
Well, yes. Okay, let's do the question. So the question I've been doing for the last 2 or 3 months now is, as of right now, do you guys say the Royals are in the playoffs? I think we all agree again. We're going to say yes. I'm going to say yes.
This is the first time that I've said it emphatically.
Okay.
That I've been on the fence every single time that you've asked that question, and I've never been sure of myself.
You've always said yes. Tanner's only one guy that said no at one point.
I don't care what he says. Like,
no, I'm just saying, you've always at least said yes.
To me, right now, it's between wild card and division champion. Right now, that's the only question.
Do we make the playoffs? Is the question.
And if they screw it up, we already, it's kind of like one of these things. Like, we knew the bullpen was bad, and yada yada yada.
But it should be improved right now. Some of the trades that went down, I think that they're better than they were. So I'm gonna go yes, they're in the playoffs again, and
you had
see how it goes.
All right, you had 3-1 series in July. You won 3 times in July, 2 of those against the White Sox.
And you're a Brewer. You're a Brewers fan. That's the problem.
I'm also a Royals fan.
Okay.
So don't you worry about that. It hasn't left me. You lost to Boston, and once again, you lost the series to Boston just now. Luckily, you avoided the sweep. You lost the series to Arizona. You lost the series to Chicago. You could only beat the damn White Sox and St. Louis on a 2-game doubleheader. You barely beat Detroit. Oh, I guess you crushed Detroit. Never mind. So you won the Detroit series. You lost Boston series. St. Louis, that Highway 70 series coming up, I-70 series this weekend is massive. That's a good team. That's a wild card team right there. They're coming in. You got the Twins after that. You got Cincy. Who cares about LA? Philly, who's looking for a bounce back. They've been horrendous since the All-Star break. And then you go straight from Philly to Cleveland to Houston. And then you got a gauntlet in freaking September for the Royals right now compared to what Cleveland has. And I haven't even checked the Twins yet. But, I mean, when you have Houston, Cleveland, you go Phillies, Cleveland, Houston, Cleveland, Twins, Yankees, Pittsburgh, you'll probably see Skeens in one of those games, the way the pattern is. Detroit, Scooble.
Can we make the case that we could possibly peak at the right time?
We need to win those series.
Can we peak at the right time?
We can't fart around and win 1 game each series. Right now, looking at this gauntlet of a schedule compared to what Cleveland has, and this would load too. I mean, I'm going back to no.
Right now,
I'm going back to no. We don't.
Right now, the best thing.
They're not even going to make the playoffs.
The best thing the Royals
He's out.
Yeah.
At the moment, Royals are a pretty healthy team, meaning that all their position players are available. They can mix and match when they need to when it comes to going against hitters. Their pitching is all healthy right now. They have that going for them. So
but
I
they're
can at
not
least say that.
Executing at the right time. You got Lugo.
I see it too.
Lugo, you can't give up.
I understand.
Waka.
So how many? So let me ask you this question then: for the Royals, how many wins they have to finish with to be in the playoffs?
You got to win that stretch
right
series.
now.
You got to win the Phillies, Cleveland, or you got to beat the Twins here, and then you got to win that Phillies, Cleveland, Houston, Cleveland.
What's your magic number, Tanner? Is it 88? What's your magic number for them to be in the playoffs?
I think it has to be. I think 89.
89 wins is what he says they have to get. So you're saying if they go 86, they're not in.
Correct.
Okay. 86 wins, not in. Do you have a number for me, or do you have anything?
There's a big division battle right now going on between Houston and Seattle, and one of those teams could kick us out because they both made bigger moves than what the Royals did.
I think
I'll give them 90.
I think 90 is a guarantee.
90
is a guarantee.
90 is a guarantee.
I'm saying 90 is a guarantee in. I think they're still in, even if they win 87.
No.
Win the division. Win the division. That's all I
think 87 is still in, but barely. That's a wild card. So that's what I'm going. So Tanner's back on the other side now. So Tanner flip-flopped again.
They're not even going to make the playoffs.
No. So listen, here's what's going on. So Tanner was.
Did we make a bet on that?
Yes. Then a month ago he said no. 2 weeks ago he said yes. Now he's back on the no again. when it comes to the Royals.
Ooh.
Could he be a
Ooh.
flip flopper like JD Vance on the Trump
Hey,
ticket, or
hey,
what's going on here? Is
we-
he a
That might be the
flip-flopper?
case.
Hey, this is gonna be interesting. If we take care of business, we could knock the Twins out of the wild card itself. We're talking about a gauntlet for our side. The Twins have Cleveland, the Red Sox, the Marlins, and Orioles to finish out the season. Or Marlins have been beating winning teams. The Red Sox, we just saw the Red Sox, and the Guardians that's gonna be a division battle.
Yeah.
That
So
could kick them out of the
You think
wild
the
card.
Twins are going to get torched?
Oh.
So
Well,
why would you say the Royals are not even going to make the
Because
playoff?
I don't
This doesn't
trust
make
it.
any sense.
Look what we did in July. Look what we're doing so far against the
So
winning teams. in
Tanner's
August.
point is that we beat up on weaker teams like the White Sox, obviously, which we have been. I mean, we only lost to them like once all year.
Yeah.
And now that's all that series is done. We don't play the White Sox again the rest of the year. We're playing now actually either average or above average teams. And that's where the Royals end up not showing
So
up.
it's kind of like Trump. He beat up on weaker teams like
Jesus
Joe Biden,
Lord.
and now he's got to go. He's got a more formidable opponent at this point.
I don't
in
know if
his
I'd call his
career.
opponent formidable. So that's
Man,
interesting that you would say
you
that.
are one pathetic loser.
I don't know if I'd go that far. That's funny though. That's funny though. So I don't know. I don't know what he's saying, but
I know what he's saying. The thing that he's saying
What?
is that our division sucks.
It
That
does.
the Royals are probably going to win, but he won't pick the Royals. That's what
I
I
don't-
don't.
I don't-
understand.
I don't
he's,
see us.
he's saying down the stretch of the season he thinks we're going to fail.
They haven't shown me that they can.
because they
beat the bigger
can't. They
teams.
haven't consistently beaten good teams.
You got to
That's
win
his
the
point.
series. You don't have to win all the
That's
games.
fine.
You got to win the
That's his
series.
point. That's his point. All right,
That's
guys.
fine,
We'll
buddy.
we'll check back again in 2 weeks.
Pick the Guardians, man.
Look, we're going to check
I
back
did.
Pick the Cleveland Indians.
in 2 weeks.
I did.
We're going
Wait,
to check
did
back
I just say that?
and
Did
ask
I
that
just say
question
Cleveland?
again.
I didn't say Indians.
We're going to do it
did I?
again. We're going to talk in 2 weeks again and
Don't
say,
say that word.
will the
on
Royals
this
make the
show.
playoffs? And we'll go over it one more time. And the crazy news is, guys, we're taking next week off, but after that, we're pretty much going to be back full time. We're pretty much going to be back every
Pretty
Wednesday.
much, huh? Pretty much.
Well, I'm going to be
Oh,
out of
yeah.
town for one of them.
And I'll be out of town for one of them.
Tanner's out of town for one of them.
I'm going to
that's
do
what
a
I mean by
solo.
pretty much.
So I'm going to be solo at some point, right? Why don't you just guys
Actually,
leave? Can you guys just get the hell out of here?
What week's your
So I
stuff?
can do a
Hey, I got a
solo
new
show. I'm
barbecue place
tired
in
of this
Minnesota
shit.
for you to come check out.
Oh yeah, we gotta go try it. Burn and barbecue.
I'm saying you can come over that night. And he's going to need to stay the night.
But by the way, what week are you gone?
The first week of September.
They want it. They want my solo show. They want it.
I might also be gone that week now.
No,
Oh,
dude,
God.
they want.
Wait
it
a minute,
so bad.
Tanner. That's week one for the NFL
I
season.
know,
That's the Chiefs week one.
I'm
I
gonna
might
load
be
up.
watching
We
Man.
have a game that
State,
Thursday.
dude. I'm gonna be in Washington.
I was supposed to
State.
send you guys a video, and then you're going to post it.
Like seriously, who doesn't want the JG
What are you gonna
on a
be
solo
doing?
show?
Work.
Haven't done that shit. in-
Working?
Going to Washington State and work.
You telling me your company is going to send your ass somewhere for what?
To go work, dude.
Dude,
He's a
that's stupid.
professional.
You can work here. You work remote all the time. You don't need to go to some other
He's
state
a
for that crap.
professional. They want him there.
Okay, can you tell your job that you have better things to do that week because it's week one of the NFL season and the Chiefs
Oh, I'll
play
be back in time. Don't you worry. I'll be back in time for that.
You
It's time
guys will
for
be gone.
To go to the game.
to go to the game?
Yeah,
Okay, well,
guys
the
will be
show is a
gone.
Wednesday. The game's a Thursday.
I know. I'm aware.
So you're going to be gone still Wednesday?
I might be.
Jesus
I might
Christ.
come
I
back
will
Thursday
do my
morning.
first solo show in 2 years.
Jason.
You guys and you
Jason's
guys
gonna
won't
lead the
freaking
week one
believe it.
preview.
You're not gonna believe it,
So
man.
you're going to do the week one preview by yourself.
I don't care. Like
Oh.
that's. Let me tell you this.
How does this thing start?
That is the skill set that I bring to the table. You guys don't understand the skill set.
No, I believe in
It's
you.
there.
But
It's
I
there.
believe in you, but
Is
I-
this thing
I
on?
don't know that I believe in
Oh, you
in the- in the
will.
pro-
You may not believe in it
Not that-
loud,
listen,
bro, but when
listen.
you listen to it, you're
that
not gonna
Tanner's
believe it.
production has ever been the best because we've had our moments in the past.
Well, there is no production.
What I mean is, I don't know that I can have you turn on a computer.
Come on, bro. That turned out better than the, that
I'm
that
just-
turned out better than his shit for the last 3 years.
I'm just saying for you.
The
to-
one time that I turned on a computer was better than his bullshit for the last
I'm
3 years.
just-
Come on.
so to
Combined.
get
Combined.
to get you on, what is it, StreamYard again?
Yeah.
We're still doing StreamYard.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ, that's this place.
It's the only.
Just so you
It's
understand.
the only way I can get the
Pets are
multiple
falling off.
platforms, man.
Just so you understand, I won't even be on StreamYard, so it doesn't matter.
That's
so
true. He won't even be on StreamYard.
just
Let's do straight to YouTube.
send it
Straight
in.
to YouTube.
Send it in.
Do a solo
You
straight
bastard.
to YouTube. We'll get it figured out. All right, guys. Forget everything I said over the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, just
We may
forget
not
it.
be back.
Forget
I
it,
don't know.
man.
Maybe we'll be back in 2 weeks and then gone again. So no promises here. This is the Sports Buffoon show that
I'm solo.
may or
bro.
may not be here. May or
I'm
may not
solo,
be here
bro.
on a weekly basis going forward. So
They've been begging for
Oh.
this.
Hey,
shit.
Starcy says, sounds like you guys need some guest co-hosts. I got a few guys if we need to. So
Meanwhile, you guys have been begging for this shit for the last 2.5 years for the JG solo.
I'm ready for it. Look, I
My
can handle
God.
it.
it's time,
I just want
man.
to know who's going to press record.
I've been begging
Take me to the
myself
line.
for it. Actually,
Is this on?
All right. Sorry.
I can't get enough of myself. I don't know what the hell
All right.
is going on here.
We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here, guys. We're going to see you on the next one. And any final words?
Go like, subscribe, follow, guys. Have some fun. So,
All right, guys. Well, good luck in your training camps and preseasons and fantasy drafts. So, see you on the next one.
outro. See you guys.